All right. Can we see a little light or anything?
No, hopefully it'll beep if it stops.
So it's going.
It's going.
Okay, well, my name is Wendy, and I'm going to be the mediator for today. How would you all like to be addressed?
You can call me Charlie.
Jordan is fine.
Okay, so I'm a professionally trained mediator for the Community Police Mediation Program through the Office of the Independent Police Monitor. I'd like to start by talking about how we approach mediation and then discuss the interaction that brought you here. Mediation is voluntary, it's non-judgmental, and confidential. Voluntary means that we are here of our own free will and can end this process at any time. You won't be forced to do anything that you don't want to do in the process. Also, you won't be forced to agree to anything that you don't want to. We are non-judgmental. Our jobs are to listen, ask questions, and to try to clarify what's important to everyone here. We won't give advice. We don't decide on who's right or who's wrong, and we won't take sides. Mediation is confidential. Nothing is recorded on any device. We may be taking notes, and we will destroy those notes after this session. We don't file any reports about what you said, and we won't testify at any hearings. We maintain confidentiality.
I just have a question about that. So, because, you know, before I agreed to come here, I was about to go to court, honestly, with Jordan over some discrimination issues that have been happening. So if I'm here, I want to try this, but if it doesn't work and we have to go to court, then you're saying you can't come and like testify on my behalf?
So feeling concerned about how this process works and how it's going to affect future possibilities for resolving this conflict. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm concerned because I need to know that I can still go to court if I need to go to court. And you know, I thought that I just don't know, like, can I still go to court? Can you be there? And like, you know, anything that we say here, will you be able to prove that it was said? Is that something? You know, I know you said something like we can't go to court, so I'm confused about that because I might need to go to court. We'll see. And I just want to make sure that I can still do that.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about confidentiality and what all that entails. And I'll actually read through the confidentiality agreement that we'll make. Right now we're talking about confidentiality as it relates to the actual mediation process and what our role is here, what my role is here, and what things I can and can't do and what you can expect from me.
Okay, so you're going to tell me more about.
I'll tell you more about it.
Okay.
When we review the confidentiality.
Okay, I got you. I'm
agreement.
sorry.
So she interrupted. I mean, if I want to leave, can I leave?
This is your mediation. Again, we'll get more into what mediation looks like, but you have the right.
Because I'm not going to be, you know, interrupting and saying about court and all of that because I didn't come in for that. I mean, I thought we was coming in for the mediation because I could just go if she want to go to court. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm just saying. That's all.
So feeling uncertain about being able to make it to the end of this process.
Yeah, I mean, if she said, you know, she got to go to court and all of this, and you know, she gone, you know, if you can come and speak on her behalf and all of that, like y'all friends or something. I mean, I'm just saying, look, if it's gonna be all of that, I could just leave. I just want to know if you know, just leave, and that's it. I'm just saying I'll leave if that's the case. That's all I'm saying. Now you can go here with what you were saying.
And so kind of questioning the neutrality even of my position as the mediator here and feeling uncertain about that.
Yeah, because I mean, she's saying she wants you to come to court. I was just mentioning it. That's all. I'm just mentioning.
So you'll find out more about, again, my role as a mediator here and your role as participants and all of the ins and outs of what is expected. But again, this is your mediation.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start back up here about confidentiality. Mediation is confidential. Nothing is recorded on any device. We may be taking notes, and we will destroy your notes after this session. We don't file any reports about what you said, and we won't testify at any hearing. We maintain confidentiality except for issues of child abuse, abuse of vulnerable adults, and credible threats to do bodily harm. Those are things we may not keep confidential. This means that all the discussions in this mediation and the conversations you have with mediation program staff will stay private. Before we begin, we all need to acknowledge this in writing by signing this confidentiality form. And I will read the form out loud. And I have a copy for each one of you to read along with me. In the matter between the participants, Jordan and Charlie, the participants understand that the mediators are not legal advisors and are not providing legal service to any party. The participants and support persons agree that all proceedings during the mediation process, including any statements made or documents prepared for the mediation procedure by any participant or other support person, may not be disclosed for any purpose except that the participants may discuss the mediation with an attorney or representative if they desire. Any statement made by either participant during the mediation shall not be used by any participant or support person in any later judicial or administrative proceedings related to this dispute, or be used as a basis for discipline or recommended discipline of the subject. The participants understand that pursuant to RS 94-4112B2, the mediator is not subject to subpoena and cannot be required to make disclosure for later judicial or administrative proceedings related to the dispute, including any discourse of documents, records, communications, or otherwise submitted to the mediator except pursuant to a court order. The mediator may disclose whether the participants appeared, whether the mediation took place, and whether a settlement resulted therein. The participants understand that the mediators may stop the mediation at any time. The participants agree and understand that the mediator will participate in anonymous surveys to provide information, and data gathered will be compiled in the aggregate and is solely for research and program effectiveness and evaluation purposes. Any questions?
No.
All right, and so we'd all just need to sign, and we'll just pass these around so that everyone has a copy.
What's the date today?
Today is the 1st of February. Yes, it is. So now we're going to take a few minutes to explain mediation and make sure everyone understands the process that we'll be using. On the wall, we have a sign with the steps of the mediation process. So you can refer to it at any point if you're wondering where we are in the process. First, you will both tell us about what brought you here, and we will ask questions to clarify. Then we all list the topics being discussed. After that, you will look for solutions to the topics and make a plan about moving forward. You may reach an agreement, or you may just get a better understanding of each other, your situation, what you might do differently in the future, and what your choices are. You may see us referring to our guide throughout the mediation. This allows for us to ensure consistency and a quality of process in our mediations. We have up to 2 hours for this session, and we may end sooner. It's fairly common to think during mediation that this isn't going anywhere, and it can seem that way even though creative possibilities may still emerge. So we ask that you consider hanging in there until all agree that it's time to stop. If you need a break, just let me know. The bathrooms are out the door here to your left, out the far right, left doors, and again another left. And if you're smoking, I think that's only allowed outside of the building. Okay. So at this point, we will ask you both to speak about the situation that brought you to mediation. Then we will check to make sure we understand what everyone has said. We will then ask questions to get a better understanding of what you want to discuss in mediation. So at this point, I'll ask whoever would like to start to tell us what brought you today.
Well, I'm gonna start because, you know, this is ridiculous that I have to be here anyway, but I mean, so what? Listen, what's your name?
Wendy.
Wendy. So listen, first of all, I have a problem with Charlie, and it started a while ago. I mean, you know, I was living in our neighborhood first, and you know, I've gone and you know, I raised my children a certain way, I've approached things a certain way, and when she moved into the neighborhood, I felt like, okay, I have a next door neighbor, I can build a relationship, my children have some other children to play with and so forth. But of course, you know, sometimes things don't work out the way they're supposed to. But here's, you know, I tried. But the thing that upset me and how this all started was, Charlie has a disability, you know, and she doesn't work. So when I met her, I thought, oh wow, she could keep my children, you know, as I got to know her, you know, my children play with her children. I said, oh, she can watch the kids, we would help each other, you know, if I had to go somewhere, she would watch my children. If she had something to do, I would watch hers. You know, if I needed to take a break, she would take my children and have them come and play and so forth. Oh my goodness. Charlie children got lice in their head. All right? Bugs galore in their head at school. I mean, I was embarrassed for her at first, but I thought I better protect my children because I didn't want my children to get that in their head. Now, I have spoken to Charlie because it started out with, you know, her not keeping her yard up, her not keeping her side of the property up. When you share a property line with somebody, a property line, like this is my house, this is hers, and this is the property line, and you have washers and dryers in your yard, you have scrap metal, you don't cut your grass, you don't attend to the things in your lot. Everything that's on your side of the yard comes on my side of the yard. And I explained that to her at first. I explained that to you at first. I said, you know what? Don't have your issues crossing the line and coming over to me. All right. But she fussed and argued and hollered and screamed about it. No matter how I approach her, no matter how nice I've been to her, no matter how many times I've said it, she don't cut the grass. She leave that trash in the yard. She don't pick up after her children. They have toys in the front of the yard that if they out there playing and she call them in to come inside, they don't bring their toys inside, they leave them in the front yard. Listen, this used to be a family-friendly neighborhood. We had people who wanted to move into our neighborhood. But when you drive down our street and you look at her house, you think, oh my goodness, we have one of those people on the block. We don't want to live in that neighborhood where, you know, this person doesn't take care of their property, or that person is going to be bringing down other people's property or looking at how they look. Now, I rent. Yeah, I do. I rent. It's not my house. But she rents too. And if you rent it, it's your house. It's my house. And I don't want her trash and all of her bugs and all of her fleas and ticks and all of that over on my side. She doesn't want to listen to it. And I'll tell you something else. I have gone to her, I don't know how many times. I have tried. And oh my goodness. When I tell you I am sick and tired and I'm tired and I'm sick, I'm tired of her shit. I'm tired of it. Because I have asked her over and over, you know what? Don't have your trash over in your yard to come over in my yard. And then we have a walking trail behind our house. Oh my goodness. We used to go walking, we used to talk. The trail was so nice, but they ride their ATVs. When they know they're not supposed to, because there's a city ordinance that says you cannot ride your ATVs inside the city limits. She ride her ATV, her children, they ride their ATVs. They done busted up the route. You can't walk. All of the rocks are turned over. And you know what? My daughter broke her ankle when we was walking last week. She broke her ankle because she fell on one of the rocks. And I told Charlie that I thought that them riding the ATVs did it. You know what she said? My daughter should have looked down and watched out where she was walking. Instead of asking me if my daughter was okay, if everything turned out okay, she just said, oh, if your daughter would have been watching where she was going, she may not have fell. What is that? What kind of foolishness is that? I know, look, have you ever had someone who you didn't like, or you telling them to do something they didn't do? Has that happened to you? I'm sure it has. I mean, you talk to people, you know people, you've dealt with people, so you gotta know how I feel about it. You gotta understand what I'm talking about. Because this one, she don't understand. I mean,
I do understand, and I told you I'm sorry about your daughter. I was never trying to get her hurt, and I do care about her, but when you're coming at me so aggressive all the time, then I have to protect myself. And to be honest, I think that those kids should be allowed to ride their ATVs because, look, I need help. I'm a single parent. I have a disability. I am raising 2 kids, and they need some stuff to do. And so them being able to be outside keeps them out of my hair, and they need activities. And so it is important for me that they play and that they get outside. And to be honest, they're out there more on their ATVs because no one's hanging out with them anymore, because you're spreading rumors about me and my kids at the school saying we're dirty, we're unclean, we got lice. And I know they got lice, but we handled it. We took them out of school that day. I got them that stuff from the drugstore. I combed it out on the porch.
I could stand 6 feet away and see the lice in the egg.
I'm just saying, we handled it, and I am doing my best, and I am struggling. I'm alone, I'm disabled, I'm still trying to get back on my feet. I am doing what I can, and honestly, I need help, not people talking about it. It's public, and there's a million ordinances in the city that people break all the time. Look, it's a trail, they're kids, they need something to do. And to be honest, if you don't want them on the ATVs, then can they play together like they used to? Because they used to be friends and be playing in the yard, and now you have told your kids to stay away from my kids, and so they're alone, and they tell me that the other kids at school are, you know, shunning them, and they're all ashamed because of these rumors that you're spreading to the rest of the neighbors and the rest of the kids at school. So what am I supposed to do? Just keep them in the house all day watching video games? I mean, it's important that they play outside. So I'm not trying to get anyone hurt. And your daughter's ankle, I'm sorry about, and I do care about her, and I honestly wish that the kids could play again together.
Look, I have a daughter that's 9, 1, 12, and a son that's 15. So I know what it is to keep children occupied. But what you want to do is you want to let your children just roam, do what they want to do, have all of their stuff outside, have all of your trash in the yard, all of their stuff, and they roaming in the back, riding the ATVs, doing this, that, and the other. You're not the only one that have children. I have children too. And guess what? I'm single. I'm a single parent. I have to go to work. I have to mind my children. They have to go to school. I have to provide for them. I have to do everything you have to do. But I don't have my children have all of their junk outside, all of their toys everywhere. Look at your backyard. Charlie, your backyard has scrap metal. It has washers and dryers. It has tires. It has, what is that white thing in the back, in the corner? We don't even see that no more because the grass thing grew over that. I mean, it's ridiculous the way you keep the backyard. You're not mindful of how that's affecting me. You have crossed over into every area that I can think of that I think you shouldn't do. You've done it. You don't keep your grass up. You don't pick up your trash. You don't even think, you know what? Well, I live between two neighbors, and I should be considerate about what the neighbors are doing. You don't care that I'm saying it. You don't care that I think about it. All you do is think about, oh, you know what? I'm disabled. I got no children.
Okay, listen, I do care, and believe you me, I wish my yard was pretty like everyone else's. I can't cut the grass. I have a disability. I have anxiety disorder. I'm in the house having panic attacks. It takes me all of my will just to get out of the house every day. And so the grass is just not the priority. And look, I would love some help. I would love, your kids want to come
You
help?
just let them cut the grass. That's what you do. You put your children. I've had this conversation with you, I don't know how many times, that you have children of age, that they can help you accomplish some of these things. But no, you don't want your children to be burdened with those things. You don't want your children to do those things. You want your children to be children. Children have chores. But no, you don't want to do it, you don't want them to do it, but you want us to suffer in this neighborhood with all of your
I just don't think you understand. I do want all those things.
Ooh.
I'm struggling. I am struggling. I'm admitting it. I'm embarrassed of it.
I'm so tired of hearing about the struggling.
And that is why we're not going to be able to work this out, because you have no sympathy for my situation and where you could be helpful.
I have sympathy for me. That's what I have sympathy for.
And that, there you go. There you have it. You have sympathy for you, and I'm asking for some sympathy and help.
Well, I don't know, if you keep going on and on about, oh, you have a disability and you have this and you have that and you can't go. Look, hire a gardener, okay? Hire somebody to pick up that trash in your yard so that the stuff that you have in your yard is not, listen, do you know that I saw a rat come out of,
gardener,
I saw a rat come from your yard to my yard. I don't have rats. I don't have roaches. I had none of that until you came along.
I just think we're in different places. Our priorities are just different.
Can I just jump in here for a quick second? You both have offered a lot, and I'd just like to check in to make sure that I'm following along with what you're offering. Mm-hmm. Is that okay? Okay, Jordan, you begin, so I'll start with you. You talked about feeling excited that Charlie, when you saw Charlie moving in, having her as a neighbor, and that you're pretty hopeful that you would be able to build a relationship and maybe even be helpful to one another because she had children and you had children. And also, it sounds like you were pretty optimistic about that after you met, and you had a pretty good relationship and helping each other out. But over time, you begin to feel disappointed about the possibilities and imposed upon. And it sounds like you're pretty aggrapted and irritated by some of the things that have happened.
Yeah, those are my words. I'm past myself, to be honest with you, if you want to know the truth.
Okay. You also talked about cleanliness being really important to you and protecting your children, as well as having good neighbor relationships and being responsible as a neighbor.
Yes. Is cleanliness important to you? I mean, anybody would say, yeah, they want to live next to somebody who's clean. Yes, that's right. I am worried about being cleanliness. I am worried about that.
Okay. Thank you. And Charlie, you talked about feeling, it sounds like you feel blamed by Jordan as she talks about your yard and your children. And that you talked about just being a bit overwhelmed with your own responsibilities, feeling isolated since you and Jordan's relationship has changed. And that safety is important for you with your children, but also play and having outside activities to do, as well as their friendships and relationships, are also something that's really important to you. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, feeling so isolated. I mean, you just don't know what it's like over here for me.
Don't forget to put out you got a disability. See there.
I don't want to talk about it. You clearly don't understand.
Well, Charlie, would you tell us more about what's going on with you and the disability that Jordan's mentioning?
I mean, I just finished another tour in Iraq. I don't even know if you know that, but I was in the military and had to deal with some things that nobody in their right mind wants to deal with. So I'm struggling. I have PTSD. I have a panic disorder. And when it's bad, when I have memories and when I, have flashbacks, I can't breathe. My heart starts pounding. I can't breathe. I literally, just can't function. I can't function. I think I'm gonna die. It's hard to describe, and I don't really like to talk about it, but it's debilitating. It means that I, really can't do regular life things. Also, I lost my husband last year. That's why I came to this neighborhood, is because I was looking for a fresh start. It's just been one thing after the other between coming back from the war, between losing my husband, between all of this mental health craziness. I don't want to be like this. I am not trying to flaunt a disability. I'm not trying to have this disability. I hate the word disability. I'm not disabled. I just am struggling. Or I'm a person, I'm a person with these struggles. And when you talk about, oh, don't forget your disability, it's just like salt in the wound. Like, I don't want to be like this, and now you are, making it something that I'm like, what is that? What do they say? Like, holding that card, like using my disability card. It's not a card that I wish I had.
I mean, really, I thought that when we first met, it was going to be ideal because, like I said, I've been on this block a long time. And, I know everybody. Wanda on the corner, everybody that's from corner to corner, I know. And so I've never had a next door neighbor like everybody else who had next door neighbors. Christmas time, they put up their Christmas decorations. Easter, they put up all their decorations in their yard, all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm very protective of my children. I never wanted them way down the block playing with this one or playing with that one. So when you move next door with your children, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be perfect. I got somebody who live next door. They have kids, similar to my children's age. They can play and what have you. Now, I don't know. No, I didn't know you was in the military. I know something was wrong, but I never got to that, never got around to asking you that. But that doesn't excuse your nastiness. You are nasty. And your children, I don't think it's your children's fault. You're the mother. You can see them, that they need basic things. They need to get their hair washed. They need to be attended to. When they play in the yard outside, they need to pick up their things. You can hire a gardener. Your children are similar in age to my children. They can get out there and cut their grass. But no. As soon as you bring it to you, what you say? I got a disability, I'm struggling.
Because it's hard to discipline a child when you can't even brush your teeth and get out of your pajamas in the morning. It's hard to tell your 16-year-old, you know what it's like to have a 16-year-old, that they have to cut the grass when I can barely take care of myself. That's what I'm saying, is I cannot take care of myself right now. So my kids are suffering, and honestly, I could use some help. I wish that, back in the day, you used to have them come over to the house, and that was so nice.
My children's not coming over there.
No, when they used to come to your house, that was helpful. I could use having your eyes on them.
No.
That was a good thing. I thought too that it was going to be amazing to have a neighbor.
What did
I
I
was
tell you?
looking forward to having a friend because I'm alone. And look, I know you're saying you're single, but like you have your mom who comes over every day.
Oh.
You have your sister who will take them on the weekend. I have nobody.
Listen.
So honestly, I could use your help.
So what you could do is,
And I liked it when they used to come over to your house.
so then what you can do is,
And I want to get better and get to the point where I have a gardener and I have a, you know, whatever. I have Xavier cutting the grass
how long is that
and
gonna take? We
well,
were
I
talking
don't
about
know
We were talking
because
about
I'm
this
still
forever.
recovering. I'm just getting back on my feet.
When I tried to talk to you about this, you know what you did? You stormed off. Told me you was gonna go to court. You was gonna do this. And you
That's because all you do is get on me about this. You're not only on me, now you're telling the neighbors. Now you're talking shit about me to other parents. Now
Listen.
my kids are literally getting...
I have a right to tell the other parents that your children have lice in their head. You should have gone to school, you know that, right? No, but you didn't do that.
I took care of it.
No, but you should have told the school because now your children sitting next to somebody else's child who can get lice in their head, who can get all of that. You supposed to notify the school, but no, you wanted to keep it a secret. You thought you was washing
It's
your...
not a secret, it's just nobody's business because I handled it.
Oh, it is somebody's business. When you sending your children to school and they have lice in their head, oh, it is. And let me tell you something. Your children, it's not just the lice in their head, it's other things. You know, you should watch the way they dress and the things that they wear. Because children talk about children. Children, and I say this to you as
Children will figure it out. Children don't care. Children talk about children when moms talk to other moms. That is what's going on. You are literally harassing my family, talking about us to all of the other neighbors and parents. The kids are fine. The kids were friends. They don't care. They just want to have fun. They don't care like who's wearing what. That's you.
Listen.
That's your judgment. If I can't have my yard look so nice, who cares? That is not that important. It's just not that important. You have your priorities wrong.
So Charlie, feeling like yard work for you is not your number one priority. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to get on my feet. I lost my husband less than a year ago. I was in Iraq a year ago watching people die. I am just trying to get my stuff together. I just got here. It's just not a priority. Like, I need to get my health in order. I need to get my kids, in order. They struggled too because while I was gone, they missed their parents. So they've been all broken up, going from one parent to the other. They lost their dad.
I never had a husband, so...
How does that... Look, I'm not even trying to compare. I'm just saying what's happening for me is that my kids lost their dad. I lost my husband. I am trying to get my health in order, and the yard is just like way down here. Way down here. Like, I will get to it. I'm not trying to cause anybody.
It's not just the yard. It's that your living conditions are spilling over into my side, into how I live. Listen, when you don't clean up, when you leave scrap in your yard and all of that trash you have in your yard, when your children don't pick up their toys, when they running around, they got lice, all those things spill from your living quarters over to mine.
So
your
why don't you
living
pick
space,
them up?
Pick them up. That's not my children. Look, I don't pick up after my children. All right? Oh, no, I'm not picking up after your children, and I'm not picking up after you. Because like I said, when I tried to have this conversation with you, I tried to say, Charlie, this is what's wrong. A, B, C, D. This is what you have to do. A, B, C, D. This is what I think how you think you should handle it. A, B, C. What you did, you ran off crazy, can't talk to you, can't say nothing to you. You just went off and said, you know what, I'm going to court, I'm going to file this. Not even thinking, you know what, you was the one wrong, so I don't know why you would bring up court.
So you're feeling pretty outraged about not being able to resolve this conflict with Charlie.
Yeah, I'm feeling outraged because she don't listen. That's what I'm feeling outraged about. Because the things you tell her to do, she don't do. The things you suggest to her, she never take the suggestion. The things you say to her...
How am I supposed to listen when all you do is yell at me? And all I am trying to say is, please can you listen that I am struggling and have a little sympathy for a person. See, this is exactly why we're not going to fix this. Because you say I don't listen, and then when I ask for what I need, you make fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you, I'm just saying.
You just said,
same
it's just
thing.
the same thing. Disability. Can you even hear yourself? That is rude.
Oh, you calling me.
See, and now this is how you deal with it. You're just like,
Charlie, how How would you like to be addressed by Jordan around these concerns?
With some sympathy, with some respect, with some understanding. You know, why don't you just ask me what I could use help with rather than lecture me on what I need to do? I am a human being. You treat me like one of your children.
Let me see. Let me try.
You're like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D.
Let me try.
I can't deal with A, B, C, D when I am having a panic attack.
Let me see how I can say this. I have a life. I have a life. I have things that I have to do. I have to attend to my children. I have to make sure they have everything they need. I have to keep my home up. I have to keep my surroundings up. I have to pay attention to what's going on. I have a life, Charlie.
Well, I was just answering the question of how I would like to be addressed, and it is just with some basic respect and understanding. I'm not asking you, you don't have to do things for me. I'm just saying, if you want to bring something to my attention, maybe you could do it in a way that had some sympathy, and that you could just like shift your brain a little bit so that you understood where I'm coming from and that my life is different from yours. I have a life too, and I'm over here. I'm not able to focus on lawn care right now. I am trying to just get by. Does that make any sense to you? Have you ever been in that place where you're just depressed and anxious and struggling and like suicidal and just trying to get by?
Really, Charlie, suicidal.
Yeah, and this is the problem. You just cannot take any of the things that I say seriously.
I'm just saying,
Do you know what it means to be depressed? Have you ever had any struggles with your health?
Yeah, I'm depressed. Every time I open my back door.
Yeah, see, you're
And
going to
I
talk
look
about
out-
how the yard makes you depressed. That just goes to show you don't understand.
Look, I'm depressed when I open my back door and I look and I see your yard. And I see all that trash. I see rats coming from your side of the yard to my side. I feel anxious when I go out of my front door and you got toys all over the lawn. Your children's toys is in my driveway. The other day it was storming and raining. I ran out of my house to get in the car. All right, I get in the car and I you know, you gotta move the umbrella, you gotta put everything down, and I put the car in reverse and I back up and bam, I hit something. I thought I had hit a person or something. No, your children's bike was under my car. All right, I had to get out of my car in the rain, move the bike, push it, throw it on your lawn. Right, I'm blowing my horn. I saw you when you came to the door. I saw you when you came to the door. I saw you, and your child told your son told my son at school that your mother rode over my bike on purpose. No, your son's bike was in the driveway.
Well, what are they supposed to think when all you do is say that we're nasty and that you are refusing to let your kids play with my kids now and trying to rally all the neighborhood children against them? Then of course my son is going to start getting defensive and assume that you hate us and that you're trying to hurt us because you literally talk shit about us all day. So what do you expect?
First of all, I don't talk shit about you or your children. What I'm talking is fact. Okay, and the reason why I tell other parents is because guess what?
Oh, it's fact that my kids are dirty.
Like, oh, it's fact that they had lice, and guess what? It's fact.
It was one time.
Oh.
We washed it out. Everybody in the entire country's kids has lice at some point. That is nothing new.
No.
It's not because you're dirty. You can be the cleanest kid. You can be living in the White House and get lice. It's not about dirtiness. Look it up.
What is wrong? I tell you what, if it's not about dirtiness, and the fact that she still had it, that's dirty. You think you washed it out and you didn't get it all out. Because I can see the lights, I can see it, I was able to see it in her hair. And my daughter told me that she was trying to help, trying to brush her hair, trying to put her hair, and she saw these little things crawling in her hair. What was that? If you washed it out. I told my daughter, do not touch her hair. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. No, that's not your job. Don't use your brush, your comb. And not because I don't want them to play together, but I don't want my daughter to get lice.
It just takes 10 minutes to get rid of it.
10 minutes, 10 days. You see, that's your attitude about everything. or you can do this real quick. You can have that happen real quick. Oh, my child, they left their toys in the yard. Oh, they're gonna pick them up. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Oh, if it was in your driveway, we sorry. Don't worry about it. Move. You don't respect other people's space. You never think about, you know what? What about that? I don't want your children's toys on my lawn.
They're not on your lawn. My space is my way, but they don't go on your space. They're not leaving stuff everywhere.
If it's in the driveway, Charlie, if it's in the driveway, when I back my car up and I back over a bike, that's in my driveway.
Okay, one time they left a bike.
Oh my God, one time. It's always one time. It's always, I got a disability. I'm anxiety stricken. I'm this. It's always one more thing that you want me to listen to. One more thing that you want me to consider. Have you ever considered how I feel?
I am trying, but you will never let me talk.
Don't try, because if you try, you'll never understand. You'll never get there. Just understand it and just do it. Clean up.
See, this is the thing, is you say, just do it. And just do it. It doesn't work like that for me. I can't just do it. I am trying. I do want my yard to be clean. I do want my kids to have friends. I do want, the washing and dryer machines to go away. I don't like them there either. I just can't get there yet.
Listen, I didn't want to bring this up, but you keep going about this. I got anxiety. Charlie, I was at your house, okay? And I use your bathroom. And I don't go prying around in people's things. I don't touch people's things. But you had, medicine bottles on the vanity. They had 2 medicine bottles on the side of the floor. I picked those up. Your medicine cabinet was open. I just shut the door. You had pill bottles with other people's names on them. Just medicine everywhere around your children. I mean, I looked at those pills and I said, you have a problem with medication? Should you be taking other people's medicine? I mean, are you on, do you have some type of addiction? Do you sleep all day long? Who does that?
People who have PTSD.
No, people who taking medicine that's not theirs. People who are using prescription drugs that's not theirs. People who are taking stuff that's the kind of people that sleep all day.
Well, that's how it works when you don't have insurance. That's how it works when you don't have a lot of money. You have to just get it the way you can. And if it's, and someone else's old prescription, that's just how it works. You clearly just have never been on this side of the fence. You don't know what it's like. That's what you have to do. That's what I have to do to survive. Do you know how expensive those prescriptions are? So I just have to get it this way.
No, I think that you're taking other people's medicine. It makes you paranoid. It makes you act in a way that you're not supposed to. You knocked on my door.
I don't really want to talk about my medication, honestly. That's
I know you don't want to talk about it because it's not your medication. It's Johnny medication, Sue medication.
Well, whether it's Johnny's or Sue's or mine, it's not your business.
Well, I saw it in your bathroom, and I'm just saying.
That doesn't make it your business.
Well, you had it all out.
Just because you see something doesn't mean it's for you. It was my house in my bathroom.
Yeah, it is in your bedroom, but it had other people's names on the prescription bottles. I'm just saying, you taking medicine that's not yours, that's not good. So all of these things
That is your opinion, and it's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
So, Jordan, feeling some concern around Charlie and her children's safety as it relates to the medication.
Yes, I am concerned.
And then Charlie feeling protective of your privacy. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not her business.
Business is.
It's my business.
Charlie, you mentioned earlier about having feelings of suicidal feelings. Can you tell me more about that?
That is just part of what I'm going through. Like I said, I am struggling with depression, and part of that is these bad moments where sometimes I feel suicidal, sometimes I have a panic attack, sometimes I have flashbacks. That is why I have medication.
I'm so tired of hearing about her. First of all, she, I don't know what type of medicine you're taking. I really don't. But I do know that when I went in that bathroom, I didn't see none of your name on none of those bottles.
It's, if you really need to know, it's
Tramadol.
anxiety.
Tramadol for pain.
Antidepressant. It's nothing crazy.
All
it's
of
just
these
normal anti-anxiety,
things you
antidepressant
was
drugs.
taking. None of your name wasn't on any of the bottles. I saw 4 prescriptions, and I happened to just take my phone in the bathroom. I never take my phone in the bathroom, but I took my phone in the bathroom. And when I was in the bathroom, I Googled that medicine.
Yeah, and it's like I said, anti-anxiety, antidepressant. That's all it is. And
pain medication.
Okay, and sometimes that, because you know what? I got
sleeping
injured.
medication.
Because I need to sleep, because that is part of my anxiety, is that I can't sleep.
So when you sleeping, your children is riding the ATVs on the trail in the bed.
Yeah, because no one else is going to play with them because you ruined their relationships.
Well, if you would wake up and do something with them and not be sleeping all day, they wouldn't be in the bag tearing the trail up.
I would love to. I am trying. If your kids would play with them, maybe they wouldn't be getting into trouble. If you would watch them like you used to, that would be great.
Wash your daughter's hair consistently. Get the lights out of her head.
Okay, great. I can do that.
Pick up the trash in your yard. Make your house look decent. Pick up your things. Clean up.
Okay, so my kids have to take a shower and then your kids will play with them?
No, your kids have to be clean and then my kids will play with them. Your kids have to be respectful and then my kids will play with them.
My kids are respectful.
Your kids have to pick up their things and then my kids will play with them. Your kids have to stop riding the ATVs on the trail and then my kids will play with them. Your kids have to do like everybody else's kids and be respectful, and then my kids can play with them. Oh my goodness.
So it sounds like you're looking for ideas about how to create better relationships with children.
I want them to be able to have friends. They were good friends. It was great, Sayla's 12, Xavier's 16. Her kids are about the same age. It was such a blessing to move to this neighborhood and have kids that were their age. I really do want them to have a good relationship. If she can get over all of this cleanliness stuff, like we're trying, can they just be friends regardless of whether they took a shower that day? Like, that's absurd. But yes, I do think that it would be great. Maybe we're not going to get along, but like, can the kids at least get along?
You've mentioned a couple of times about the hopefulness about your relationship, as well as you, Jordan, also mentioned feeling optimistic about the possibility of your relationship, friendship, when you first moved into the neighborhood together. Charlie, can you tell me what that looked like for you? You talked about it as a blessing. What did that look like for you?
I just was hoping for some friends. I was hoping for a new start. Like I said, it's been hard. I was looking to start over. I was looking for a neighborhood. I was hoping that we would chit chat and have each other's kids over and help each other. Like, you watch my kids, I'll watch your kids. Help me with the yard, I'll help you with the yard, whatever. Like, I was looking for some friends. I was looking for some help. I was looking for some camaraderie. I've been alone. I wanted to kind of escape the past. Like, everything in the last house just reminded me of John, and I was like really excited to start new.
Keep listening to the same thing. Same issues, same responses, same problems. We need to come up with some new stuff. How are we going to resolve this? That's what I want to know. I mean, isn't that what this is for? Isn't that what you stormed off for? Saying you was going to go to court, and you was going to do this, and you was going to do that? She stormed off to go to court because of what? She wanted to make sure, that she was heard, that, like she was threatening me or something. So, look, I'm tired of talking to you about all the things we know are obvious. I'm tired of talking about your anxiety and your this and that. What you need to be talking about is how you're going to clean up, how you're going to keep your children clean, how you're going to keep them off the trail in the back on the ATVs, how you're going to clean and get the prescription bottles that don't have your name on them out of your house. Stop taking the medicine and sleeping all day, slugging around. You came to the door the other day, I didn't even know that was you. I mean, it's ridiculous. I want to, look, what you gonna do to fix it? That's what you need to be talking about. What are you gonna do to fix it? And please don't say, I got a disability and I can't get out and I'm anxiety stricken. No, I can't. Please don't do that.
So Jordan, sounds like you're feeling pretty exasperated with talking about the concerns. Is that right?
Yeah, that is. In short, it is. It's just, you get tired of hearing the same thing. You get tired of hearing all the excuses. I mean, what about everybody else? Everybody else got feelings. I mean, I just want to be respected about my space. I just want her to clean up when she's supposed to clean up, her yard, her surroundings. I mean, how many times do you have to tell somebody they're nasty? That's all I'm saying.
I also heard you mention, Jordan, about about the process. It sounds like you're talking about some of the solutions that you might have for resolving the
because
concerns.
she shouted in my when I went to you, and I came to you, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to you, and I'm gonna talk to you about, how I feel about all of this and that. You know what you did? Oh, you screamed and hollered to the top of your voice about, I don't like your children, and I'm picking on you, and I'm turning the neighbors against you, and you're gonna take me to court, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that. So, this is what got us here. You're walking off. If you would have just stood there like an adult that day and listened to what I had to say, and then you could have said what you had to say. But no, you were so in oblivion on their medication.
I was not in oblivion. I could not handle your aggression at that time, and so I exploded, and then I cooled off, and then I came back and said, let's try this mediation thing to try to fix it. So this is me trying to have a conversation. I wasn't in a good place that day.
You're not in a place on everything.
Well, I'm here today. I'm here now. And you still are refusing to listen. And all you want to do is get your yard clean. And I keep telling you, I
Didn't we
need
come
help.
here for that?
Well, I came here because I want you to also understand where I'm coming from. And maybe it's not just about the yard.
Charlie, what you want me to understand? Come on.
I want you to understand that I struggle, that this is my life, that it's not just me trying to get away with something. It's not just an excuse. It's not just me sleeping and ignoring my kids, that it's a real problem. It's a sickness. It's not something that I want. It's a sickness. That's what I want you to understand. I want you to drop your, it's a sickness. Like every single time that you make fun of my disability, you're demeaning me. You belittle me. You dismiss it. You like roll your eyes at it. And what I want you to understand is that this is my life and this is my struggle, and that like the yard is not my priority, and I will work with you to try to figure some of this out, but I need you to work with me too. And I need you to understand where I'm coming from and have some empathy and support for my situation. And that it's not always about just what you want. And that like there is my world too. And that
you don't think that I saw that lady who came to your house, who was friends with you and your husband, and her husband was friends with you and your husband, and I saw her take that little bag, and she had bottles in the bag, and she passed the bag to you through the door because you had barely had your eyes open. You cracked that door. You don't think I see that lady bringing you medicine and pills, and you want my daughter and my children to be over by your house? No, you can't even stay woke enough to see what they're doing. Look.
Okay, so let them come to your house.
Let me see. Let me think of something. Last time I looked, I don't have a sign dangling on my lawn saying Anna's daycare. I don't have that outside. And more so,
I'm not asking for you to watch them. I'm just saying, like a normal friendship, if they could play together, if you don't want them at my house, fine. They can go and play at your house or in the yard or on the trail together.
if you clean your yard, pick up that white thing in the bag, pick up the tires, the scrap, all the trash in the yard, put your garbage cans on the side of the house, make your children take the garbage out and put it in the garbage can. If you clean up your yard, your children can go in your yard and they can play like everybody else's children play in their backyards. How about that? No, that's not. You have a disability and you have anxiety. And what else you said? I'm just trying to keep track of it. I want to make sure I have it all listed so I know how to deal with it. Can you tell me?
No, because all you're gonna do is make fun of me. You're not taking it seriously.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just trying to keep it all together. I'm just trying to make sure I pay attention to you, that I am conscious and I'm aware of how you feel.
Yeah, it's your tone though. It's your tone.
Look, you know what, I'll tell you what, you know what you concentrate on? Concentrate on, let's get this, let's get to how you gonna clean your yard and all that kind of stuff. Let's get to that. Can we get to
Okay,
that?
well, I would like to get to you not spreading rumors about my family. What about that? Can I request that?
A rumor is something that's not true. What I'm saying is true. So you want me to put it in a letter and send it to the neighbors? You want me
Maybe
to?
you can just not talk about my family to the neighbors.
So I hear both of you talking about some solutions about the concerns that you've been discussing here. And I just want to take a quick moment to highlight where we are, because we're about an hour into the process. And we began at explaining the mediation process, and then we moved into information gathering, which is where we are now. The next phase is listing topics, and then the brainstorming and solution. Again, you've already started mentioning some solutions. I'd like to ask if you think that we're at a place where you might want to start considering listing some of the topics which will be the stage 3, our stage 3.
Yeah, I got a lot of that to list. Yep.
So again, the next stage is framing the topics of the next stage of this process is to build a list together of the topics that you all have discussed and may want to make a plan about. I have a couple of topics that I'd like to share with you and see what you think about it. The first one that I have listed is around safety. Anna, Jordan, you've mentioned being concerned about the safety of your children, safety just within your neighborhood in terms of as it relates to like the care of your yard, and you also mentioned safety around having concerns for Charlie and her health as well as her children's. Safety also for you, Charlie, you mentioned safety around your children and wanting to make sure that they are cared for as well. I'm sorry, let me go back to another one. Jordan, you also mentioned safety, like when the children are outside playing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about safety for her and her children. I mean, I want them to be safe. But what I'm really talking about is, she just always drugged up, right? Always in some stage, some phase, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's almost like your lethargic. You just say yes, yeah.
So what do you, Charlie, for you, what do you think about using, looking at safety as a topic?
I don't really want to talk about my drugs and that. If that's what you mean by safety, I don't want to. I told you that's my private business. She clearly does not understand what I take medication for, and so I don't want to talk about that.
We should take
We can talk about the kids. The kids, I think I'm happy to talk about.
I wanted this safety because, you know, with that bike that was under my car, you know, that could have been something else. That's not safe. You know, her toys in the yard, her trash in the yard.
We can talk about that. We can talk about